I was pretty much on my knees, and I was trying anything and everyone. It was a particular difficult time. I needed rebooting. I needed to wake the
Brad Pitt just opened up about his time in AA, and I found his take really interesting. He talks about taking ownership for his problems, then taking the required action to fix his alcohol problem. I didn't expect his responses to some of the difficult questions that were asked. If you follow my channel, you will know that I don't find AA to be the best path when it comes to quitting alcohol. But I'm always open-minded, so let's get into it.
We can say men's group, right?
I say AA. You're not supposed to, but I say it.
I said that. I went on like some New York Times interview, and what a amazing thing this experience was for me. It was, and I say this, and I got admonished by someone of the higher ups.
Oh, you did?
It's anonymous.
Brad talks about being told off for speaking publicly about AA. Here's what never made sense to me. You walk into a meeting and say, I'm an alcoholic. You're encouraged to own that label for life. But then you're told not to speak publicly about AA, not even to share your journey and help others. Hypothetically speaking, I can shame myself in a room full of strangers, but I can't talk openly about what I've been through on my own platform. That feels backwards. I respect the traditions, but it's 2025. People need real stories, real connection, not secrecy. But this makes sense because AA was created in 1935. The big book, its core text, was written in 1939 and hasn't been updated since. That means no mention of neuroscience, no understanding of how the brain rewires itself or how dopamine drives addiction. So if you're struggling today and you're trying to recover using a book that predates World War II, it's probably because you're missing out on decades of powerful insights that can actually help you move forward. I'm not against AA. I'm just saying we've evolved, and so should the methods we use to quit alcohol. That's why I'm here on YouTube being fully transparent about my experiences so I can help others. Quick introduction, my name's Ben. I am the proud owner of Hybrid Sobriety, a program that not only helps you quit alcohol, but helps you reshape your reality so you can go and get the life that you really want. I have a full training video for 2025. I'm not sure how long it's going to be free, but the link is below in the description, so check it out.
There was a period of time where if you were known to be an alcoholic, you would be run out of your neighborhood. You couldn't find employment. They didn't want alcoholics just showing up at their doorstep. It would be kind of inviting just their town drunks to show up. So
this is interesting, and I wasn't actually aware AA was invented back in the day to stop drunk people turning up on your doorstep. But again, this highlights an important point at how outdated AA is. But it actually works, so who am I to judge?
you have the power of when you are in a place, everyone can't stop thinking about you.
Dax then asks Brad if he finds it difficult to open up in a room full of men, especially when the focus is on Brad with the status that he has. Just for context, this AA meeting is a mix of men from all backgrounds, so being there would be a big deal.
I never thought about it that way. I was pretty much on my back.
Yeah.
You know, on my knees. And I was really open to, I was trying anything and everyone. Anything anyone threw at me. It was a particular difficult time. I needed rebooting. I needed to wake the f up in some areas. And
Brad talks about being on his knees and willing to try anything. He said he needed rebooting and to wake up in some areas of life. And yeah, opening up in a room full of others can be a big deal. I feel this every time I step into a kickboxing sparring session. I've been 100 times, but there's always still that resistance that, what if something goes wrong today? What if I don't do well? Now imagine that feeling for 2 to 3 times for the rest of your life. That's what AA can feel like for some people. I've been sober for 5 years and I don't have to go anywhere. I just live my life. I'm not standing up in rooms talking about who I used to be. I'm more focused on who I'm becoming than who I was. That's why in my program, I don't make people relive their past every week. We use it at the start to get a few important answers, but we don't stay there. I help people reshape their reality and build a life that makes drinking irrelevant. The past is gone. The future is our focus now.
Yeah, the first is, oh my God, it's coming around. You know, it's coming around. It's getting closer. It's going to be yours.
Yeah.
But everyone was so open.
It's contagious, right?
It is. It gives you permission in a way to go, okay, I'm going to step out on this edge and see what happens. And then I really, I just really grew to love it.
I went to AA when I was 27. I had no intentions of quitting alcohol or cocaine. I was at the peak of my party years. But it was interesting to see how they operated. Brad talks about it here. You're all sat in a room. In my case, it was all sat around a table. I've actually got a funny story here. So I went with my friend and he brought his other friend who was actually a drug dealer. I think this guy at the time was drinking like a liter of Jack Daniels a day, so he had a serious problem. If you've been to AA, usually in the UK, they have a donation at the end, so everyone puts money in this pot. What I thought was really funny is that this guy was a drug dealer and he put a £50 note in the pot. Considering this was probably drug money, it just made me laugh. Anyway, each person would take their turn to talk about their experience. Some stories are funny, some were dark. If I'm honest, I wouldn't want to listen to that each week. I'm too forward-thinking to keep reliving my past. But for Brad, it was enjoyable, and he said he actually looked forward to the experience. But for others, I can imagine waiting for your turn to talk can be daunting, and I wonder, how many people don't actually end up going and getting help as a result of this fear? The good news is it's 2025 and there's a new way of doing things. I have created a training video for 2025. I'm not sure how long it's going to be free for, but it's here now, so check it out.
And it was also, anything could go, because some guys would be like, you know what, didn't have such a bad week. Sure, did this, and this worked, and this was, and talk about their wins,
Brad actually mentions sometimes the guys don't have a struggle that week, so they share their wins instead. And honestly, I actually love that part, because here's the truth. For a lot of men, constantly talking about your problems every week can actually make things worse. It keeps you stuck in a loop. But focusing on small wins, that builds momentum. And for me, tracking little wins throughout the week keeps me grounded, focused, and moving towards my vision for the future.
Dax got in a fight with someone over it once, didn't you?
I did get in a fight in that room, yeah.
Oh, really?
I did,
missed that one. I missed that week.
The co-host mentions that Dax got into a fight during a meeting. And I want to add something here. I once had someone book a call with me, and in the notes they wrote, I don't want to go to AA anymore because I keep getting 13th stepped. Now, I don't know the full details, and I would never disclose them. But if you look it up, being 13th step usually means someone tried to take advantage of you sexually. That's serious, because if you're relying on AA as your only support, and then something like that happens, or you get into a confrontation and you're feeling safe, it can completely break your trust in the process. And that can be all it takes for someone to relapse, give up, and never try again.
Or
stupid.
Desperate.
No, well, desperate's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't come into AA because everything's working out fantastic.
No, that's usually not the entry point.
You only go when you're in a bad place. I would argue, to this day, with all the YouTube videos and other avenues, it's never been easier to take control of the problem before it gets out of hand. I'm speaking from my own experience here. I quit drinking using personal development podcasts, sobriety books, and a definite desire and purpose for the future. And here's a fun fact that you might not know. Only 5 to 10% of people succeed with AA. That means that 90% of people who go don't stay sober long term. Now imagine you were paying for that. We'd be asking some serious questions. But because it's free and it's been around forever, most people never question it. But the truth is, you do pay. You pay with your time, focus, and attention, which is your most valuable asset. Plus, AA doesn't actually acknowledge other programs as being worthy or effective. So if that doesn't work out, it dents your confidence, then makes you feel that there is no hope. I have a full video on how Joe Rogan quit alcohol with no help on his own, and you can watch it here.